I'm Professor Stephen Coleman, and I've spent many years researching and writing about political communication. I'm interested in how politicians speak to us, how we speak to them, and what we think of each other. In this short episode, we focus on Rishi Sunak and Sir Keir Starmer asking the question, what do they really want to say to each other?
10.2 million, they're now 7.5 million. I'd like you to explain how they're coming down.
Because they were coming down from where they were when they were hired.
7.2.
And they're now on their way down.
He can role-play Margaret Thatcher all he wants, but when it comes to Europe, his answer's the same. Yes, yes, yes!
I'm not going to answer the question because the question is, will you shut up, man?
The Sound of Politics with Professor Stephen Coleman. Election Special.
Watching the leaders of the two main parties when they've been together during the election campaign is rather like witnessing the early, irritable moments of a relationship counselling session. Each of them insists that the other is not being himself, that he's concealing his true intentions, that beneath the smooth surface an ominous personal agenda is at work. Each wants nothing more than to expose the other, while maintaining total control of the self-image that sustains them. They think they are communicating about what they believe in, but what they're really fighting about is how to communicate.
I think you should show some respect to the audience who want to know what I've got to say about this without constantly being interrupted. It really isn't the way to do the debate.
It's completely nonsensical what you are saying, right? You are taking people for fools.
These misplaced rhetorical knockout blows are the opposite of communication. They are laments for a dialogue that neither will allow to take place. The debate ends up being about why there is no debate.
What the Prime Minister is doing, he's got a manifesto that's got promises to you and everybody watching which are unfunded, because his Chancellor has said that the money he's relying on has already been spent. Now, that is the mistake that Liz Truss made. That's what cost so many people so much across this country, and now we've got to repeat unfunded commitments, lots of promises, but where's the money coming from?
So what would a real relationship counsellor advise? I suspect that they'd urge each of them to stay focused on what they really think, how they really feel, what they consider they need to tell. Don't concentrate on destroying someone else's narrative. Make your own story compelling and leave others to judge the value of what they're being told. I was fascinated by Rishi Sunak's use of the word surrender.
So I say it again, do not surrender our borders to the Labour Party. And if you are not certain about Labour, don't surrender to them.
It's a strange word to use in relation to casting a vote in an election. What exactly would electoral surrender look like? Would it entail giving away one's vote under some sort of duress or manipulation or self-delusion? Isn't democracy predicated upon a willingness to abide by the will of a majority of strangers whose views might differ from one's own? Does that really constitute surrender? I suspect that Sunak was using, I should say overusing, the term surrender in a metaphorical sense, alluding by association to an act of abject military capitulation to an enemy. But does democracy really gain anything by resorting to the language of surrender in the context of democratic electoral choice? Mrs. Smith from Bridlington may or not be misguided in not voting for Mr. Sunak's party, but she's hardly engaged in an act of surrender. So let's go back to our counselling session and think about what our tetchy combatants need to do if they are to find their way out of the mire of interminable discontentment. They need to speak to each other. They need to break through what they think of each other. They need to speak to us. They need to acknowledge our experience and tell us how their experience and what they make of their experience relates to us.
10.2 million, they're now 7.5 million. I'd like you to explain how they're coming down.
Because they were coming down from where they were when they were hired.
7.2.
And they're now on their way down.
He can role play Margaret Thatcher all he wants, but when it comes to Europe, his answer's the same. Yes, yes, yes!
I'm not going to answer the question
Why wouldn't you answer that
because
question?
the question is, will you shut up, man?
Listen.
The Sound of Politics with Professor Stephen Coleman. Election Special.